All right, y'all. I'm gonna do this story. Well, I'm gonna have my commentary on this Lawrence Smith Field situation. You guys know that Cardi B helped shining light on this situation, so police can investigate it and get answers because she feels that maybe foul play has happened. Um, so it was all over the internet. Lauren Field Smith, she went on this date. She was on this site called Bumble. I guess it's a dating or slash hookup site, and she met this guy, a white guy or whatever, and he's 37 years old, and she's 20. She was 23. I'm sorry, and they went on. I guess they met up or whatever. I think he only know her for like a few days, and they were, I guess, according to him, playing games, whatever. Her brother, according to him, he's saying that she said her brother's outside. She met up with her brother. Came back in, went to the bathroom for like 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, and then came back in. I guess they played games and they watched a movie. She fell asleep while they were watching a movie. So then eventually he took her upstairs to her. He took her to her room, laid her on the bed, and lay beside her, and he went to sleep. I think he said around like 3 o'clock he went to the bathroom, and he he heard her snoring, so he knew she was alive at that point. So he went to the bathroom, and he came back out, and then I think he woke up around 6 or 6:30, and then he found her, deceased. So now the girl's dead with a little blood coming out of her nose or whatever, and so he called the cops. The cops came. They checked, I guess, his side of the story, whatever, and they believed him, trust him. They didn't suspect foul play or whatever. Um, he told him his side. Hit, and the autopsy eventually came back, right? That fentanyl and I think another drug mixed with alcohol is what made her overdose. And they say when they did the autopsy, that it was an accidental overdose. Now, I'm gonna let y'all guys hear this because this is coming from the parents or whatever. The parent, and then here's what the news reported. So I want you guys to just listen to this. Let's get into it.
Know that my daughter was not a drug user.
Preliminary results from the state paint the first real picture of how Smithfields died. The medical examiner found Smithfields died of acute intoxication from a combination of drugs and alcohol. The results showed fentanyl in her system, along with two other drugs. The autopsy says the combination of those substances with alcohol led to what it calls an accidental death. In a video statement last night, the family attorney said they believe there was foul play.
Someone introduced those drugs to her system, and it wasn't her. And we want answers right now.
Now, the attorney did not explain how the family knows she did not take the drugs herself. The man hasn't been charged and is not considered a suspect, so we are not naming him. According to the police incident report, Smithfield's date told police that two spent the night drinking, eating, and watching a movie. At one point, he said she went.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so y'all just heard that, and the lawyer, he just looked like he just trying to get money. That's all he just trying to do. He just trying to find some angle. We know someone gave it to her, sir. How do you know that? Someone just gave it to her. Well, you don't know that. I mean, I'm sorry. Here's what I think about this situation. I honestly believe Cardi B jumped on this situation, and I like Cardi B music. But I think Cardi B jumped on the situation, and only because the guy was white. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. I think she jumped on the situation and was so quick to jump to conclusion. Because he's a white guy and she's black. I think it had it been a black guy, it wouldn't been anything. Had it been her and the homegirl finder did, it wouldn't been a story. But because he's white, I think that's why Cardi B jumped on this situation. And because she's a big name, of course other people are going to be talking about this since she's shining some light on it. Now, I understand the family grieving and they don't want to believe that their daughter probably was doing drugs or was like a party type girl. I get that. I understand that. They don't want to accept that, and investigate it. Now I do feel like, listen, if the I think a situation like this, even though I believe the girl just took drugs and OD, and I went on her Facebook page, she do seem kind of like a party type girl, always dressed up, always got her hair done, face beat, always like on the move, on the go. A 23-year-old girl just having fun, naive, all that, whatever. But I do think that in a situation like this, I don't believe the man is guilty, but I do feel like I can understand an investigation happening. Like something should be happening, and because the family gonna want answers. The family not gonna want to accept that a child was just doing drugs and just OD, especially with a stranger that they don't even know. They don't know this man. He barely know her. So I can understand the family frustration and whatnot, but I do feel like and alleged, apparently, according to them, how they were treated, um, they actually weren't contacted. They actually went to her daughter house because the mother was texting and didn't get a response. And then she went to her house apartment and knocked on the door, and then she saw the letter. And the letter was basically like saying, call the police. That your daughter has deceased. What? Who? So the whole thing is iffy, like on how they found out. So I can understand why the parents would want thorough investigation and maybe feel the way they do. However, I do believe in my heart of hearts that she, took some drugs and whatnot. And I mean, I believe she took some drugs. I don't know if she actually met her brother or it was someone else. Maybe she just told the guy, my brother's outside. Maybe it was another guy. Maybe she just didn't want him to feel some type of way. Maybe it really wasn't her brother. But either way, I just feel like, again, this situation is by the public. It's kind of blown out of proportion, I think, because the guy is white. Because had it been anyone else, I don't believe anybody would make that big of a fuss, other than the parents. I understand how the family could feel that way and want to see, what happened, but yeah, yeah. But the autopsy is there. I don't believe he injected her with fentanyl or shove it down her or with all those other drugs and make her drink alcohol. I just don't believe that. I'm not buying it. I think was just trying to her way of trying to have fun, get high, and it is what it is. And y'all know fentanyl taking everybody out left and right. So y'all better be careful out there. Be safe, even with your marijuana, all that. I don't do that stuff, but even with all that, y'all better be careful because people got stuff laced. Fentanyl is just like, ooh, it's just taking people out. So y'all better be careful out there. But that's my honest opinion on the situation. Comment in the comment section and tell me what you guys think. Y'all think he's guilty? Or do y'all think she was just in her way having fun, getting high, and got too high? What do y'all think? But prayers, my condolence goes out to the family. But yeah, I think at some point the reality is just gonna have to set in and whatnot. But I understand the frustrations.